You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Dean Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AfterBuzz TV's Real Housewives of New York City After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Real Housewives of New York City After Show.
Ziggy Iggs. They got one more problem with you, girl. Hey.
Thank you, Iggy.
It's the best song ever.
It's totally.
It's the perfect song. This should be like a theme song for the New York Housewives. It's a really good song.
Actually, could. It's quite catchy for her.
Kristen could work out to this.
Oh, it could be a perfect addition to her workout video.
I would watch that.
I would too. I feel like music is like the #1 reason why you want to work out. And when you hear a good song.
To do it in silence.
It's like motivating, yeah.
Oh my God. Do you feel that you do teach spin, right?
Yeah.
So you know, like your music means
the music is the whole. Do you think anybody would actually come to the class?
Kenny G
do you
is playing
teach
in the
spin or you
house.
go? You teach it.
That's
You're gonna have to tell us about
Did you see
that.
her body?
Well, I know, but I didn't know that's how she got it.
It's not even normal.
Who are we?
You can kick all of our butts and spin.
Oh my God, it's so embarrassing when I do spin. Anyway, hi guys. We're here for the Real Housewives of New York City After Show. I'm Ashley Daniels, along with my beauties, a full panel again tonight, which I'm excited about. Who am I with?
I'm Stephanie McGrath, guys.
And I'm Lyndsey Wegner.
Courtney Henderson.
Okay, cool. So, and we have a special guest. Hi, hello. Okay, so Courtney, I think you mentioned tonight, it was not too much drama it seemed like everybody was getting along. It seems like we have these peaks where they get along, boom, something happens, and then, this was one of those nice moments. I think that with the drama or the craze came from George. And his crazy proposal. I mean, we'll get into it.
Was that a proposal?
Horrible proposal.
It was so weird. That whole thing was just sketchy.
Is it really genuine?
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be lingerie, but well,
I did too.
I don't know. I think we should play it up a little bit tonight. Do we have to go from beginning to end with the episode?
No, I don't think so.
I mean, let's do something different. Let's try.
You're in charge, lady.
I mean, I don't know. I'm sure there'll be some people might be upset about it. Some people will like it too.
We'll go back.
Okay, so let's just talk about that. Since we just talked about it, we just mentioned it. What did you think about that proposal? Was it for the cameras? So for anybody who didn't see tonight, Aviva's father is back. He made his appearance again. And for anybody who's watched before, he always, he's the life of the party, so to speak. He
Prince Sonja.
He has a lot to say. But he brings his 25-year-old girlfriend tonight to dinner, and he says he has a gift for her, gives her a bag, and out pops an engagement ring, and he asks her to marry her, and she says yes immediately. And everybody's just kind of like dumbfounded, but they're like, they don't want to be rude, so they're like, congratulations.
Although I don't think Cody.
Yes, right.
She kind of. She didn't respond straight away because I think
they
she was
didn't let
thinking about
her.
everyone else. Though in some way, like, is this really? Is this the way you're going to propose?
He didn't ask. He just like announced to everyone else in the room. He didn't even say it to her. He was just like,
it's an engagement ring.
Yeah, and it's like I thought it was going to be lingerie when he was like, if it doesn't fit, we can take it back.
I did too. When you said that, I'm like, oh, it definitely is.
And
nailed it.
And you would do something.
Right.
And he would of course give it to her in front of everybody to like make the spectacle that he likes to make and be the
and then
party.
Talk about sex and everything. What they've just come from talking about, mirrors in their bedroom.
I don't think she wanted to say yes. I really don't. I think she felt the pressure of the room.
Really?
I really do.
I think she saw the
didn't-
ring. She was like, screw it, yes.
Well, yeah,
that's
but I mean,
huge.
it's one of those where it's just like,
Yeah,
you
it was
know,
weird.
she talked about being his little black secret and thinking that that's what he was trying to do, and then now he's proposing like the night that she meets Aviva.
Did we get a good look at the bag? It was a brown bag. I thought at first it was like something Louis Vuitton, like a wall or something, just from far away. But it looked like it was a brown bag and a blue
case.
It was like the regular velvet ring.
Was huge. Now, I know...
Somebody said they thought it looked fake.
I did.
Is he okay?
I thought it looked fake because it was so big, and I just felt like it had that, like... I don't know. Have you ever seen those fake cubic zirconias that they sell at like Macy's and stuff, and they're like, they look like engagement rings, but they have that look to them where I just... Obviously... I'm guessing it's got to be real because he does. I'm sure he has a lot of money.
Well, Cody said, you know, he goes, he works all day. I don't know on what. You
Right,
know, so
right.
the thing I saw about it was it did look fake because of how big and gaudy
right.
it was.
Yeah. It was so
and
big.
I don't know if at that size, I feel like it's always gonna look fake, but it almost looked like it was shallow. And like it had a big
piece of
surface
glass.
area. It looked
Yeah.
like it had a big surface area, but it wasn't deep, which is not a good diamond.
Right.
Yeah, no, it looked almost cloudy.
Yeah.
And,
Yes.
and like it looked
Yes.
like a piece of glass, you know, that was laid on top of a ring, but there was no like curve to the stone or V to the stone.
No.
That
It was a
most
very
stones
shallow
have.
stone, which you can get it set to look really big if that's what's more important is the way that it looks than actually the quality of the diamond. But it was such a quick glance anyways. It's honestly really hard to tell.
She had a ring on her left hand too.
Yeah,
If
she
anyone else
did.
noticed, she had a blue stone,
she
a
took
big
off.
blue stone on her
Okay.
left hand.
Okay. I want to know what you guys think. Did you think it was real? I don't know if there's any diamond experts out there that watch our after show, but if you want to let us know.
Let
See if anybody
us
tweeted us
know
about
what you
it.
thought about the ring. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm curious.
But Cody's reaction was still, and I understand that. I think when you're proposed to, I mean, I haven't been proposed to, but it does. There's a certain aftershock, and you saw her taken back. She was just like, oh, for a bit, and I understand that's normal. But then you also go, is that a normal reaction? Like, what did I
If
just
you were
say
really
yes to?
excited.
What,
Well,
he didn't
what
do
the-
it right.
what the-
No,
It was
I would've
weird. She's like,
been-
are you serious over and over? Because he didn't kneel down. It was almost like he was like, yeah, he was right. Oh, and yeah, would you? I may as
been
well.
so
I may as
just-
well.
yeah.
He was trying. I feel like he was trying to impress the room because he wasn't
Yeah.
even like to her. It's an engagement ring. He was like, it's an engagement ring. Like to everybody else in the room who's
Right.
like not looking at what's in the box.
It was just
It's like, well, we all would have known it was an engagement ring.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have had to announce it if you got on your knee and pulled it out of the box and gave her the ring, not the
Right.
freaking bag from the store.
Right.
It was just so
Like that your
unromantic.
assistant
Yeah.
went and picked up for you. You hope it's a diamond ring inside because you didn't even pick it out.
Right, right.
I mean, I
Right.
don't know if that's true, but that it's like that was kind of like the attitude.
It was weird. It was
Yeah.
weird. No, keeping on the subject of George, I think we could do all George at this moment.
Wait,
Yeah.
but how long
Yeah.
have they been dating?
She said two and a half years.
2.5 years?
Yeah.
That's what Cody said.
It's weird though because just
But what
a
is
year ago or
dating?
so,
He
he
was
was trying to
poking
get. They were trying to
Sonja.
get Sonja together with him.
But he's also said, like,
Maybe she knew
when
him for
they
2.5 years.
When they did flashbacks and showed Aviva talking with her dad, saying, he was saying, I want you to meet, one of my girls or whatever. She's flying in, she's young, 20-something. She's like, Dad, I don't want to meet them all. You're 1, 2, 3 night things. So by the sounds of it, Cody isn't the only woman. And hasn't ever been
no,
the only
I don't think he
woman
could
at
ever
all.
be exclusive by any
And
means.
he's certainly
he's
not.
a
So they could
hornball.
have been together for 2.5 years, and he's also had a whole
yeah.
run of other
I was
women.
gonna say
horny.
the
I mean,
definition of dating is very vague and can
Yeah.
be defined so many ways today.
Please define
Yeah.
them for us. I would like to know.
Well, but I just
For
mean
real, though.
it's
No,
like every couple.
I'm actually serious though. Like,
No, I mean, but like any couple,
Yeah.
some couples, like some girls, like match with a guy on Tinder and like they say they're dating. You know what I mean? And all
right,
the
like
way.
12-year-olds, like we're dating, and like they go to the movies with their parents.
Like I dated a guy for like
Right.
48 hours and it was like, do you want to go out with him? Yeah. Do you want to go out with her? Yeah. Okay, like you're together. We walked by the hall in 7th grade and like didn't even know it because we didn't even know who each other were.
That's such a good point. Dating means
Like-
something different to every single person. It's totally
and it's
subjective.
like up to
It's
you to
funny.
decide, some relationships are open, some are not, some are
I mean,
it's all up to the couple involved, and as long as they're both okay with it, that's to each his own.
if they get married, she'll make a lot of money. I mean, she'll have half
she may
of
not
everything.
care who's on the side.
Right.
At that point,
Right. Look,
he was pretty.
there's a lot of
crass.
women
We
that
talked about it.
do that.
Aviva even joked that she goes, I'm excited for him, but not excited to have a 25-year-old stepmother.
Weird.
No.
Weird. It was just the whole thing.
I mean,
was
she's
weird.
got 10
He
great
is
grandchildren.
just, in general, weird and creepy.
Yeah, well, it's funny because I know we've seen him before, but
Yeah.
for some reason, it was just like I feel like this explains so much about Aviva. Like, there's no way she could have ever ended up normal
When that's your
with.
dad.
Yeah.
No.
Even though she constantly refutes all of his, like, Dad, like,
Yeah.
this is disgusting.
Like he makes her
stop
look
it.
really grounded and
Normal.
sane.
Totally.
She has to be.
Yeah.
But even her response for when they were in the bedroom, and he's like, "Why don't you have mirrors up there? It makes everything more sexual, more it makes your sex life. It really steams it up." And
Yeah.
and he asks, he says it's so cool, like just very it's nothing. Like it's just a conversation that he's having with anybody.
Oh my gosh,
and
I couldn't imagine.
At no point it's going through his head, you know, this is my daughter, there's boundaries, there's no lines crossed. And it's just like, I just immediately picture like my relationship with my father and how like that would never, ever happen.
Oh
like,
my gosh,
ever.
no.
And if that ever did, I would be unbelievably
mortified.
Right, I would think, who are you? Like,
And it goes both ways. It's like, I have 2 brothers, my parents, you know, 3 times.
Right.
Because there's 3 of us.
Right, of course.
And that's it.
Right,
You know what I
they've only had sex
mean?
3
Like,
times
it
their
goes
whole
both
life.
ways. Yeah,
Exactly.
like, that's it. And they were done.
You don't you wish. We all wish that were the case.
You know, so it's like it goes both ways. Because
our parents have no genitals. And nothing.
They're Ken dolls and Barbie.
Exactly.
Well, it's like Reed is like, I'm trying to convince him that, you know, we don't do that because like,
there's
it's
nothing
his
being
daughter.
had. Yeah.
And he's talking about throwing mirrors on our ceiling.
I don't know
but
if
then
he
Reed
does it.
chimes into it as well. He's like, I had mirrors when I was 16. It's like, oh, here we go.
Yeah, but like they try to make it right. Yeah, but and also Reed says it, and then did someone else say too that they had
I think
mirrors?
Sonja said she like somebody else said
somebody
they
else
like
said
because
it
he did
too.
the whole like voting thing.
Yeah, it was like a joke, and that's funny, and they try to make it light. But then, like, when it's your daughter, and it's like a conversation with your daughter, it's just it makes you wonder when it started. Was he like this when she was like 10? Like, did he say creepy
Was
things?
always sexual
Like, was he
and open?
always? Yeah. Like, did she always grow up
knows?
with this? Like, I guess we'll never
Once
know.
again, just not really good dinner conversation.
I was just gonna say, at the dinner table. Not to mention the topics were odd, but also I felt like the guest list was a little weird because it's. I mean, I know Aviva. I know that they get along with Harry, but. I mean, your dad's bringing his girlfriend over, and you have your ex-husband
I know. It was a bit
on a date with your
incestual,
friend.
wasn't it?
I mean, were Harry and Sonia on a date? It felt like it.
Oh, yeah, she's seeing you
I
too.
mean,
I mean,
Yeah,
I
right?
think they're
Like-
always on and
And they
off.
were talking
But I
about
didn't
their own
realize-
sex life.
Yeah.
The ex-wife is there
Yep.
with her husband, and then her dad's there. Who's
and then Wendy Madden was she?
Yeah.
I didn't. You know, it's like, and now you just have like a friend's wife, or your friend who without her spouse there.
Yeah.
Right.
And like if I was Cody, I would just be like, get
me out of here.
Yeah.
And not even because they're awful people, just because like I'm 25 years old and I don't need to be sitting at dinner with my boyfriend and his daughter and her ex-husband and her friend who's dating her ex-husband with her new husband present. And hello, like this is. You can't write this.
I was just gonna say that you just took the words out of my mouth. You can't write this. It's a soap opera
You can't
within a
write this,
reality show.
But at the same time, her being a 25-year-old with who knows how old George is, that in itself, that's not normal.
I just wonder where they
kind of
met.
fits
At
in
the
with
salon.
all the other, with
Oh, yeah.
They met at the
He said
salon?
they met
She
at
works
the
at a
salon.
salon.
Oh, she works at the.
Because he went in, remember, to get his scrotum waxed.
Oh yeah. Oh, I guess I tried to block that out of my memory. That was right when they sat
we all
down. Yeah.
tried to block
Sorry.
that.
There you go.
Oh yeah. Okay. So it makes you wonder if that place is also like happy endings and stuff like that. If it's one of those places, you never know. I don't know.
I bet anywhere he goes, he turns into a happy ending kind
Well, it
of
looks
a place.
like I know I'm not getting into predictions, but it looks like next week does Ramona say something to her about her parents
Yes.
or something?
Yeah.
That's so she's already like presuming that like
Below the line, she's
Yeah,
going to hit
yeah,
it.
yeah.
We
Yeah.
know that.
yeah.
It's too bad. She was so pleasant this episode. I really
Ramona?
liked Ramona
Okay,
this
so
episode.
let's get into that. Okay, I would love to get into that. Let's swoop around to the beginning of the episode. So we got a little bit of George out. We had to get. We just watched it. We like. How can we
waiting to
ignore
talk.
that? Okay.
Not to mention now we can block out the scrotum.
Yes. Oh God. Oh, I
Sorry, I
hate the
brought
word
it back up.
scrotum.
The
It's
only
like-
2 times we'll be saying the word, yeah.
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 Okay. So what did you think of the? So obviously we saw the flowers and everything like that last week and all that and her apology and I wasn't here last week, but I do want to say that I felt like in this situation Ramona really did put. I was really shocked that she put herself out there and said sorry the way she did. She was very apologetic, and I feel like I try to put myself in Kristen's shoes because I know that she doesn't want to take the apology and hear it and then be like, you know, just dismiss it after she says one apology. I understand Kristen's like, this happened twice. Like, how am I supposed to believe you? But at some point, I felt like it could have been just moved on. So what did you think of the situation with Luann, Kristen, and Heather when Kristen is telling Heather and Luann about the meeting with Ramona and her viewpoints of that meeting? What did you think of how she felt about how the meeting went and how she felt like, you know, she kind of used as Luann says, she used an excuse for the Hamptons once again to get out of this situation with Kristen. And what do you think of that conversation between them?
Well, I think Courtney and I kind of were talking about it last week and
Yes.
saying that Kristen was almost just taking it a little bit too far, and we both love Kristen, but that
I agree.
okay,
I agree.
all right, your lip had a little cut on it. You didn't require stitches.
Yeah.
It wasn't hospital worthy or anything like that. So, all right, she's apologized now. Let's let it go. I didn't think there was a need for Kristen to bring it up today again, saying, I bled. And she is, I was like, oh my God, please don't tell me that we got a whole nother episode talking about this bloody lip again.
I'm trying to see her side too, and I totally do. And I really am trying to put myself in her shoes and be like, well, what if? Because what if would go through my head a bunch of times. What if it turned into this? What if it was worse? What if, just how could you do that? And how could you risk that?
It's not so much the bloody lip. It's more the fact, the principle, her action,
right,
behavior. You cannot do this. Like as you school a child, like her children, you do not hit someone or throw something at someone, and it's okay. It's not okay.
But to what end? I mean, I felt like based on Ramona's apology and the flowers and all of the things that happened, at what point, I feel like there's nothing that will satisfy Kristen. And if that's the case, and if this is just somebody she's not interested in being associated with, then accept the apology and then make that clear. I get that you're sorry, but this isn't okay, and I don't feel comfortable being around somebody that's like this, and just kind of move on. I felt like she was not accepting or really even acknowledging of the fact that Ramona just put herself out there in a way we haven't ever seen.
And that it's not easy for her to do that.
Right.
Some people can apologize, and they're when I do something wrong, I'm totally the first one to apologize. I just like to get it out there.
Yeah.
But I know this was huge for Ramona, and she really was genuine. And the flowers, they were beautiful. She really tried. I just feel like she shuts down, and when she realized Kristen wasn't going to accept it, she was like,
yep,
see ya.
Right back.
Yep,
Yeah,
I gotta go.
Defended herself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe she didn't have to be anywhere, but the fact is she wanted to act like she had to be somewhere because it's her defense mechanism to act like she's too busy for this situation. She's got to get out of there because it's like there's nothing else she could do. And what did you think of the her saying to the girls, she letting the girls know she called her a monster? And what did you think of just in that situation? I want to know what you guys thought of the word monster. How would you take that if you were Ramona?
I think they all sort of made a bit, took it as lighthearted because then they start saying, "Oh, we've called her several other names and Stinger." There's a lot of other names. How would you take it?
Would you be upset at that word?
Called her a monster.
If they called you, if someone called you the word monster, how would you react? Because I was trying to figure out how anybody else would react.
Monster isn't something that
I don't like the word.
You don't really hear that often around.
I think that's what makes it more offensive.
Monster.
Yeah.
It's an easy blow to go, bitch, or
Exactly.
whatever other word is sort of like the common way to go. But to really kind of move past all of that type of language and into sort of childish name calling, I think that kind of I would rather be called a bitch than a monster.
Me too.
At that point.
Me too.
No, I don't. I think monsters. For some reason, I think child. I think of. It doesn't resonate anything really negative. I just think of cartoon characters and I'm like,
You do?
okay.
What do you-
Have you seen the movie Monster? Because that might change your
Oh,
mind.
yeah. Charlize Theron.
Yes, but she was.
That's
murdering
where I
serial
go.
killer.
But she was a monster.
No, that.
What
God,
Ramona
wasn't that a
did, it
shocking
wasn't
What?
to
That
the
was a shocking
status
movie.
You
of
saw it,
that
right?
movie
Yeah.
or
That movie was.
yeah.
No,
What Ramona
now
did
you
is
just
not
changed Courtney.
not even close
No,
to
I'm
what
just
should
saying,
be considered a monster.
No.
That
That
the
was
connotation of what people go to when they hear the word is not the same. If I thought,
Because I had pictures of cartoon.
But
I had
that's what I'm
pictures of this mass murder rape.
sorry,
so-
but
what I'm
you
saying
see
is
what
you
I'm
never-
saying?
yeah,
where
it could be
the
used
word is
any
more
way.
offensive when you're not thinking of cartoon Cookie Monster.
Yeah, that's
Right.
If you're thinking of Cookie Monster, then
What are you
then
gonna
that's
say?
going to be something you'd rather be called.
First off, there are I hope there are very, very few people that if you called them a monster that would actually sit and go, you called me a monster?
Right.
I would have had to have done, in my mind, I would have had to have done something really, really horrible. And taking a wine glass and throwing it at somebody doesn't make somebody a monster, in my opinion. I think that is a very, very far way to go. And
Yeah.
what she did wasn't worthy of that word.
I agree.
So if somebody called me a monster, I'd be like, okay.
Yeah, she
all right.
composed herself
I
really
wouldn't
well.
care
I would have walked
because
out.
I'd be like, I'm not. I know
okay,
I'm not.
I see what you're saying.
I would go, I
see
know
what
I'm
you're
not.
saying.
I'm not a monster. if that's what you think, I feel sorry for you that you don't have the vocabulary to be able to really tell me how you feel. But that word is no. I would sit there and go, okay.
Okay, that makes sense. Where it's like, because the word means what it means, you can associate that I cannot be compared to that.
Yes.
Like, I'm not actually
Now,
that.
if someone calls me crazy or psycho, I get a little bit
That's where that's
angry. That's my
stupid.
trigger word.
If somebody makes me, like, imply, like, they're condescending or makes, like, stupid, that's the one
That's
for
your
me.
trigger.
Call me crazy. Don't imply that I'm unintelligent.
Oh, so
That's so be nice.
Anyway, so these are our PMS moments. Stay away from us.
We'll get our negative crunches, but I think overall, I think we all agree we can just move on now.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Done.
Okay.
We're
All
not
right.
finished
Yes.
that. And
yes. Well, I think a lot of people that are big Ramona fans are going to be angry at watching that. And I also think people that are, that are on Kristen's side, they're going to see. It's just, there's just so many opinions that you can have at this point. So it is good to get into something like that because I didn't want to ignore it. But anyway, so to the next thing. So Luann does say it's no shock that Ramona used the Hamptons as an excuse to leave the lunch with Kristen. And did you feel like when Sonja was saying you don't know what it's like to have a kid in college and everything, did you feel, because Kristen seemed like she was taking it as, oh, are you trying to say that I'm not a mom that loves my kids? Or I think Kristen was taking it that way. I was taking it as Ramona was saying, like, it's different. Your kids are at home. I don't get much time to see my daughter. And I think she got immediately defensive over that. And so watching the two of them kind of not see eye to eye in that conversation and take it differently was causing a lot more tension, I think.
Yeah, apples and oranges. Because I don't think that, I think it was, we both agreed, I think that it was different. That I mean, your kid going to college and wanting to spend time with them has nothing to do with somebody who has a little, 2-year-old or a 5-year-old and being okay not spending every second with them because they know that they're going to be home for the next 15 years. So I don't think in any way Ramona meant that as like a low blow to Kristen and her choice or parenting style.
I didn't think so either. I just think as a mother, because I've seen this happen many times in other shows too, where you immediately take it as, oh, you're saying I'm not a good mom, or because I think moms are, of course,
it's
right?
Like anybody who's going to question someone's, role as mother and how good they are and stuff like that is extremely sensitive.
And they're already on rocky ground,
Yeah.
so anything that either one of them can kind of say that could be construed as something different, they're going to immediately get a little bit of, fear in them just because of the situation, and there already being awkward tension there between the two of them.
Do you see any hope for them?
Exactly.
No. Only because of the
they're gonna be
preview.
besties.
Only because of the preview for next week.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be besties. But what I would like to bring up was what we saw in last episode that continues on to this episode was then Josh and Kristen's relationship, the tension.
Yes.
So when she was doing her workout video,
Yes.
which I'll let you continue on with.
No, go ahead. You're on a roll, honey. It's all you.
When she was auditioning for, and she spoke about how this is a new phase. She can't get work as a model straight up. Then she can now, start looking in other opportunities, which is being on a workout video. And they pay very well. We all discussed about it. It's a good area to go into by all means. And she's got a fantastic body and she's a fit girl. But when she actually got booked for it and then was on set, that was just kind of...
Okay.
She was like, Josh, enough. And he was just pushing and pushing, saying, I'm going to stand back and I'm going to watch. And she's like, no, this is getting creepy. I want you to leave. He wasn't going to take it.
Okay. I watched I don't know if you guys saw, or if any of you watching and listening saw Heather on Watch What Happens Live last week. But obviously she's really close to Kristen. So Andy brings it up, like the relationship between Josh and Kristen. Yeah. And she says, you know what? Here's the thing. You don't find it's not very often that you find two people who have balls in a relationship. Like, they both have the balls to put the things that happen in everybody's lives on camera. They're really no different than any other couple. It just so happens that they're on camera. This is exactly the same situation that happens in most households. The husband works, the wife wants him home more. The husband is.
About that?
Okay, you did.
Yeah, I was trying to remember. Yeah,
how
it's
Heather
like
was on
every
last
conversation
night about it last
in America.
Tuesday. Yeah. So you guys were dead on, because that's exactly what Heather said last Tuesday after the episode aired, and she was like, they have a very, very good relationship. It just so happens that's the case, and they're willing to do that. think about how many couples are really willing to do that, you know, and put themselves out
But
there.
here's my issue with that scene was he's
Tonight.
cutting tonight.
Okay.
Is him cutting her down while she's filming that music video. Or while she's sorry, not music video.
Yeah, I know.
Workout video.
Yeah.
He's doing it while she's shooting it. Like they're on a break and he's saying, "Oh, can we get rid of the pooch or whatever?" Just these little digs at her. Now, I mean, I know, and we've all obviously hosted and auditioned and all sorts of stuff like that. If you have something bad happen to you before an audition, we all try and let it go, but you know deep down it's still kind of like it's with you, and you either use it, you try to let it go, or whatever.
Have to use it.
Now, imagine here you are, you've booked the job, and now you've got the person putting you down while you're shooting it.
Yeah.
I would have been so furious with him. Furious. I would have probably like not yelled in front of the crew because that would have just been unprofessional, but I would have excused myself with him and said, "You can leave and don't come back till tomorrow. I do not want to see
And
you."
that's the difference for me, because I agree with what Heather said and kind of what we talked about last week and what you were just saying about them.
Yeah.
I feel like the difference between the conversations that they've had, like this is, I would dub it public, because you've got the whole crew, you've got her employer at this point, you know, because of the circumstances. It is not okay, I don't think, to cut down, even if you're trying to be playful and poking fun. Like, this is not the time and the place. And then when she's clearly unhappy with it, it's like you have to at least acknowledge that this is not helpful.
Was it produced? Was this?
I don't think so at all. I think that was him. I think that was him.
Okay, well,
playing a
think
little
about
bit.
it. He's an extremely brilliant businessman who has his best interest, his wife's best interest, and the family as a whole.
And resentment.
Would he ever do that though and jeopardize a job where she's making money, she's getting her name out there? I mean, in front of the employer, or would he do it for other reasons?
Well,
I
this
just
was
don't
a
think
friend,
he's
right?
Yeah, but slash him. I mean, these are people on the crew. She's filming at this moment.
Oh, yeah.
He could have taken her aside. He did it. He publicly did it because I think it's creating some drama for the show.
Yeah.
I don't think he said anything that was detrimental to her reputation and her job.
No.
They were little things, and I think at the end of the day, you know, there's always that one person in your life. Like for me, it's my mom. Some people you just can go to and you're like, "Mom, what do I really look like right now?" Or "How do I really look?" And they'll tell you. I think he's that guy for her. I just think it's aggravating at the same time.
Well, if you think about all the other relationships that actually are still coupled up, none of them have got the same spark, a bit of tension. They've picked up the tension straight away, and I don't know, I'm presuming producers like, let's run with this. Let's try and keep, because it's the only tension going now between a couple.
Why else would he
Heather
do
and
it?
Anderson.
He wouldn't
Yeah,
want to
and
jeopardize
so-
her reputation unless there was more to it. Like there's
But
more
it's
to
not her best work then.
But how do you? But what if
It's not going to be her best work when
Right.
she's sitting there being cut down.
But is it her best work at the end of the day? Is it kind of a sacrifice that makes her a little more relevant on the show? Because now there's a scene that they didn't cut because it's actually interesting. So she got like 5 more minutes of airtime on the Real Housewives, but maybe her video wasn't perfect.
But in the workout video, you can tell that she's upset and that she's.
Do you think
she's
that they
got
would
something on
really
her
use
mind.
that? Or
Have
do you
we
think-
seen the whole,
No,
the
we
whole
haven't seen
take
it.
of it, and that could have been one small tiny
And then
section
you're
that
right.
they were
Maybe
like-
it could have been, and maybe they reshot everything.
Who knows?
But,
Who knows?
But that really.
No, of course
got
not.
to me.
No, he wasn't being a support system in the sense that he was like, "Go, you go, girl. Like you look great. You go, girl." That would be really weird for a husband. You go, girl. But like he was like he wasn't a cheerleader for her in that sense.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think he made a decision that was I don't want this scene to get cut. Let's make it interesting. What can I do?
I could see him doing that.
He's a businessman. He's smart.
I think that there are other ways to make it interesting besides just
What other
cut
ways
your
would-
wife.
It's drama. We know
It's
that.
drama.
It feeds, it gets the ratings and
How
stuff
else
like
is
that.
Kristen
And
going to
so-
get drama right
I
now,
don't
other than with
know.
Ramona or with because she's not a troublemaker.
Right.
And
her working out can only be viewed so far.
yeah, that would be one of those
We've seen
cuts,
that.
those things they show in like the clips that they've taken
snippets.
out, the snippets. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just felt like I don't know. I
agree.
I'm just
I think
thinking-
I could totally see him doing that for airtime. I feel like there's other things that are interesting, like watching where, I mean, the drama with the couple and all of that stuff. But it's like, I had more fun watching. I want to say Luann, and I know it's not her, it's Carol and Ramona interviewing, and
What
it's
about
like,
the assistant interview? I mean, was that not staged or what?
Oh, it was totally staged. Oh, come on.
It was so horrible.
You know it was staged. I mean, Lyndsey, it was staged, right? You're like the
Oh,
most
yes.
insider of all this, like in terms of. I mean, it was staged, right? That's
Yes.
crazy.
Oh,
Nobody
gosh.
brings a resume. Everybody's like,
No,
The
everyone
questions were
walked-
crazy.
Like
I don't know if the questions were staged. I could see Carol because she was on
Yes.
personality. But like, yeah, the resumes. I mean, in a Twitter ad, it's like,
And the guy rapping for
or
her.
it's like maybe they didn't stage it. As far as like maybe they only showed the people that didn't bring a resume, because I mean,
It's like American Idol. You're not going to see
Yes,
the great singers.
exactly.
You're
Yeah,
only
'cause,
gonna see the bad
I mean, look at like Ramona said, you know, you don't go to Twitter.
Yeah,
for
Twitter
an
ad.
assistant. I mean,
We got to see if she
you're
really
gonna
found
get
an
some
assistant.
crazy
We're gonna have to ask
people. Yeah, we will.
Yeah, we are having Carol on live in the studio next Tuesday. Forgot to mention that. It's kind of
Yay.
cool, I would think.
Yeah.
So we'll ask her all the questions that we want answers to, and you guys can tweet
want
us,
her
put
answers
it on
to her
YouTube, let us
questions.
know.
Yeah.
I want to know, though, did she find an assistant?
Yep.
And I want to know, was that produced? She'll tell us. She's totally so real. She's like Heather. She's going to
Oh,
totally
yeah.
tell us everything.
And has
I'm
she
so
converted
excited.
her kitchen into office?
Oh, God.
Does she not have a kitchen anymore?
And did she have a second date with the guy from last week that
Yes.
she had a little crush on?
Yes. We've got lots of questions for her. Wow.
gosh.
this is-
And did she need to fake that orgasm?
Oh, God. What is it, 76% she said? Fake orgasm?
Something like that, yeah.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. That's going to really
I'm
make a
surprised
guy
it's that low.
insecure. I know. I know, right? Okay, so, yeah, so the rapper, first of all, he's like, I'm a vocalist, I'm a rapper, and he starts rapping. I mean, come on, who does that? No one would ever do that. No one would ever do that. What about the girl that was like, yeah, my previous employer's dead, but it's kind of helpful because I can
creepy.
leave
Yeah.
now or whatever. I was
I
like,
mean,
what?
She looked the most professional at first, and then when she started talking, it was like,
The lady from
scaring
ABC
me.
was the best one.
Oh yeah.
She was like, oh my God, you remind me of me when I was
Yeah.
younger. And she's like, she's the only one who read her book.
And she hasn't even read a book, exactly.
Do you really
cool.
think she read her book?
I mean, I would never
I don't
say
think
yes
so.
because what if she says okay? Then tell
What'd
me
you
what
think
my
of this?
Chapter
Yeah.
16.
I would
No,
die
that's what you
if I
do.
was
You
lying.
pick a chapter or you pick a handful of pages and you read them so that when they ask you your favorite part, you can say this and you're gonna correlate it to some like personal experience so that they can't say, well, but what about this and this? Because it's more interesting. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like you pick a boring
done this
scene. You know
before,
what I mean?
haven't you?
I've
Just
never been
kidding.
interviewed by, but it's like it's one of those where it's like it's common sense. Like you can research and
You
got
read
the
the
Cliff
review.
Notes, Cliff
Someone
Notes.
has,
Yeah.
who's done the review of the book. There you go.
Yeah, exactly.
So
That was a funny scene. Though we needed a little scene.
Yeah.
And it
Oh,
was,
it was
really
great.
funny.
Sonja, we got that throughout the episode. We got the ups and downs emotionally with her, especially when she went to her spiritual. What was
Yeah,
With the
yeah.
chakra?
Well,
The chakra.
I want to get into that. I do want to get. I just wanted to ask really quick though. What did you think of? Okay, so you know how Ramona says at the beginning, she's like, she asks a question to Carol. She's like, if your assistant said, if you have 300, if you have book signing for 300 people tomorrow. And you also just got a phone call that half of your alcohol was in her
They only
case,
have one case
They only
or
have one
something.
case left. What's the one that's more important? And she never answered the question, so I really do want to know what the answer was, in her opinion.
Well, because she said, she's like, if you would ask your assistant this because the assistant's obviously going to be the one taking care of it. And Carol was like, well, I didn't listen.
yeah,
I
I
wasn't
know.
I
so
love
we didn't get the
Carol
answer.
Burnett.
I was like,
Adorable.
damn. What did you think
I
the
would
answer
love to know what
was?
people think. I would say the book signing because it's timely. I mean,
Yeah.
that's today.
That's what I think too.
So
What do you guys think? That could be our YouTube question for tonight.
There you go.
There you
What
go, guys.
What do you think would be the answer that Ramona would be looking for from her assistant if she were to have an interview with her assistant and ask that question? So
And
We'll
I
have
think
to see
that-
if she tweets an answer.
I think that's
Yeah.
an appropriate interview question too.
Yeah.
I mean, because you're gonna make your assistant work for it and tell you, like, I mean, and maybe there is no wrong answer.
I was
maybe,
just thinking
maybe,
that.
maybe they're both right, but it's how the person confidently
Yes.
displays
Gets-
what the answer
yeah,
is and
gets
how
to their
they get
decision.
there.
Yes.
That's what she wants
As
to
long
hear.
as they're not sitting on the fence and like, oh, maybe we could go that way. She wants
Yep.
someone
She
just
assistant
wants
who
a
will
decision.
take the
Make a
decision,
decision,
be able to run
exactly,
with it.
right.
Well, that's true because both will get done faster if they can make a decision and do it and move on to the next rather than, well, this.
What do you
or
think? Well,
this.
shit, no, that's why you're my assistant.
Whatever you
Yeah.
tell me to do, I'll do. That'd be
no,
great.
no.
Oh God. But yes, I want so definitely. So the next scene is the emotionally. Sonia was emotionally separating herself from Milu, but with these drums and this healing and
She has twins when she's 57.
This woman. Mind over matter. You
don't know
cannot
if it
mind over
works
matter
that-
pregnancy.
Yeah,
You can't.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know. I just
But
thought it was.
We're all in
killed the
silence right
room.
now. Yeah.
I didn't know what to say about that. I was just kind of
the
like.
thing, I will say, I thought that actually, I really like this for Sonia, and I'm not one that would be like, let's go call the witch doctor. And
Yeah,
not that
right.
she was one, but like, let's go try all these like natural herbal, like different things. Like I don't go seeking those things out. And usually when people recommend them, it's not the first thing that I'm just like really into hearing about. And And Sonja's doing one of those things, and it was really cool to actually get to see what they do versus just have somebody, like a testimonial of it.
Yeah.
Because I really felt like for Sonja, this was really actually quite productive and helpful. She said she's already separated physically from Milu. Now this is her way to emotionally separate from Milu. And there was actually a lot of baggage that comes with being emotionally tied to this pet. And I mean, I haven't had a dog since I was a child, and I can only base it off of other people that I mean, this is like a child to her, maybe even more so in the sense that Milu was there through her marriage, through her divorce, through her child.
she had her
She
child.
makes
you know,
a note and says that I never use my daughter and I never will as a clutch. I've never used her, but I have rested upon Milu.
dog.
Like my dog has been everything. She was the biggest thing before my daughter.
And I think
she
even
did choke both times that she said that part of the
yes, and I would say even after the passing with the physical separation, she still would lean to Milu, and that's why this was so important. And we saw all of the different things that came up in this, and I think that for Sonja and for the way that like the things she believes in and the way that she lives her life, that was really productive. And I thought that the confessionals, when she was talking, kind of like reflecting back on that, she just seemed different. Like the tone, like she was just radiant. I wrote down she looked radiant, and she just sounded very like put together and very just intelligent. And not to say she doesn't otherwise, but it was just different for me.
Yeah.
Like in a very good way.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the whole
Weren't you ladies so disappointed when she goes and later and has dinner after everything coming out there and she realized, you know what? Ramona's been she manipulates me, all these things she kind of realizes.
You mean the dinner with
and,
Aviva?
Yes,
Her?
and then and I was thinking, okay, good on you, Sonja. You're going to go up there and stand up for yourself. She stood up, and then it just was
she
pinky
does it-
promise. That was
right.
the end.
She does it in a way that's very. It
was just comical. Nobody took anything serious.
I totally agree, but we all have said this in the past about how Sonja has the ability to say what's on her mind, but never really get under anybody's skin, because she has a way about her. And she did this tonight. She's like, as she's trying to explain to Aviva how aggravating it was what Ramona did, she's like, and she did like what a sister would do, and she knows what words to say to keep it neutral enough that you're not going to think that she has a way with words, and she knows that she can say how she feels to Ramona, but she has to say it in a certain way. So using the word sister, using the word hurt, using the word, those words are a way for her to express to Ramona how she feels without getting on Ramona's bad side.
Without feeling like she's attacking her.
Right, because she knows
yeah.
Sonja is smarter than every one of these women in the sense that she knows exactly what each person's buttons are and how not to push them.
Well, I think
But
that
she acts like she doesn't. But she's brilliant in that sense. She just acts like, la la la.
I agree.
Really
I
knows.
think though with Ramona, I think using the word sister, some of those words, aside from just being like knowingly the right word to use, that's genuinely how she felt, because who else would be her sister as far as like any of the housewives or any friend? No, I mean, it's Ramona. And I feel like that's also why she can sort of sit there and kind of talk to Aviva like Ramona's not there about something that she doesn't like that Ramona did. And Ramona just kind of sat there and took it and kind of like smiled and was just kind of,
She laughed a little bit.
Yeah.
But your real sister, your real family, you don't have to really beat around the bush. You don't have to really put things into a nice way of saying them, because they're your family. They'll always be there. So she doesn't 100% feel like that Ramona will never leave her. And I think she knows that. She knows that Ramona will pick up and leave if Ramona feels like you're betraying her, you're hurting her, and she also feels for Ramona, and she loves Ramona, and she cries for Ramona, and she has a lot of empathy for Ramona. So I think at the same time, she wanted to let her know, you did hurt me, but she's not going to attack her. And she doesn't do it that way. And that's why they're remaining friends, because they both know how to communicate to the other one.
yeah. I don't think Ramona would ever leave her, even if Sonja may have a fear of that, especially kind of in that moment. I really felt like, this is it. Like Ramona's in it. And I don't know if it's because there's an element of her maybe not taking Sonja seriously, like so seriously that she would ever let something that Ramona would never let something that Sonja said like really get to her, because she's just like, oh, well, it's Sonja. There's a little bit of that. Like, she's.
They have a long. The
They have
relationship
playful.
underneath is really quite strong, and
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
That.
But
She'll
Sonja
let
did
these
get
things, and they were. That's what I was disappointed. I was just saying, I wish Sonja would have actually stood up for herself a little bit more, and
not-
actually said, and not just
Given up.
Talk the way a real sister
But
would
Sonja
have.
did,
Yeah.
but a few weeks ago, it was a few weeks ago. Remember when Ramona did say
Yeah,
your
and look
show?
how much
She's
finally
totally
she
stuck
worked
up for
out.
herself there.
Stop letting her walk over you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you're being manipulated every time, and you just let it.
Well, and that's why she feels resentment for being taken advantage
Yes,
of because
exactly.
she's
Nailed
allowing
it.
it.
Exactly.
But then you're right. You do have to say how you're feeling.
You need to set boundaries. It's not easy
And
at
not
all.
let-
Especially
be
that
so
many-
feared that everyone has to like you, as you say. She always does. She makes sure everyone. Well, stop it. Actually, because that's what happens. You get taken advantage of.
There's a step between Kristen and Sonja where Kristen kind of keeps pushing it, and Sonja's like, "Okay, I'll just let it go."
Yeah.
You've got to find a good middle ground.
I'll tell you who did that is Luann. I think she always finds a kind of good middle ground.
Yes.
She does, but she plays both sides of the fence. So in a sense, yes, she does that, but she's telling one person one thing, another person another thing. She doesn't
I
really
see
care.
that still more.
I mean, but Luann's been a lot better this season. It's like almost like she knows now, since I'm not a full cast member, she's a little more able to be more comfortable with the camera and not so much like having to please people with whoever she's with.
Or worry about getting her 5-minute scene
Exactly.
in, kind of a
She
thing.
knows she is,
She's in it when she is.
Yeah, they've been there
She's
since.
not when she's not, kind of a thing.
Exactly. So, and then they meet Jamie, and Ramona says he doesn't come with training wheels, Sonja. So, I mean, obviously that's another thing that she resents Ramona
because
about.
of Ben.
Brings it up again. Brings it up again.
Yep.
And she says, "Well, you're as old as his mother." She's like, "But it's not about that. It's about our dynamic. It's not about age." So it just aggravates her that Ramona doesn't see how she feels about Ben.
Well, and it's interesting because when they showed the flashback tonight from the episode when they were all at the spa, the titles, or what Ramona said in that, was that she called a friend's mom to, that she said she called someone. When she has talked about it since, and like when we spoke with her, she was like, no, I didn't call looking for the information. I was talking with somebody, found out while we were already on a call about something that there was that connection, and so then I asked, because we were already on a call, I didn't go seeking it out, and so it's like, well, which is it? Did you go seeking out the information knowing that it might put a stop to it? Or was it kind of like, oh, we both like this? Oh, you know her too? Oh, well, give me the dirt, kind of a thing.
I think Ramona's thought process must be, I'm looking out for my friend, and this is not going to be an end-all for a relationship. This isn't going to end in marriage and kids. So why should she waste her time? But Sonja's not looking at it like that. Sonja's like, I'm living in the moment, and this is right now making me happy. So I just think they just can't see eye to eye in this situation, but Ramona needs to learn that there's going to be so many times where you're good friends or dating someone you just don't like, and you have to just keep your mouth shut and maybe voice your opinion, but then after that, let them do what they want to
She
do.
doesn't keep her mouth shut, though.
You can express how you feel and be very vocal, and I don't even think at any point you necessarily have to keep your mouth shut. But there's a difference between vocalizing how you feel about the person your friend is dating and meddling with the person.
Playing with fire.
You know what I mean? Like doing something that
Actually
could
going
alter
out
or
of your
end
way
the
to make
relationship.
it, whether it be the phone, whatever occurred, but you're actually doing that extra effort.
Yeah. It's one thing to tell you I don't like the guy you're dating. It's another for me to make sure that he doesn't want to date you anymore.
Well, clearly they're dating
because I
still.
don't like,
Because when we spoke to Sonja, she did say they're still dating. So she and Ben obviously make up and
Reconnected
everything.
somewhere,
Yeah,
yeah.
because this was a while ago. But okay, so then what did we know? Okay, so the funeral with the finding out that Sonja. That Milu was gay.
Oh my gosh,
Aviva's
so
line
cute.
was brilliant.
Yes. Finally, Aviva got we
my
were
God.
all laughed.
Aviva,
Go ahead and say
that
it.
was amazing. Go, you do it, Lyndsey. You cracked up even more than me.
God,
It
what
was
a-
the best.
now
I don't
I'm
know.
laughing.
She says, okay, now all the other dogs will come out. So he basically, Milu, gave every other gay dog the ability to have the strength to say, I am going to come out of the closet.
coming out of the closet.
And I know my dog was gay before he passed. And everybody who knew Rocket knew he was 100% gay. It's like literally gay. And he was
That's so
like
funny.
the coolest guy. Like he was just like totally like, I just call him a guy. But he was like the coolest like sidekick. Like you just wanted to hang out with him. You totally knew if he was a human, he would be gay and awesome. So I totally agree that your dogs can be gay,
Absolutely.
lesbian.
I never, ever had thought about that.
I mean,
at
but
all
think about Sonja.
until she said that. Until Sonja was like, Milu's gay. Like, what? I would have never.
But Sonja
ever
for a
thought about
mom,
it.
Sonja's not the most masculine. I mean, obviously everybody's gonna. It would be like if she had a son, and there's who knows. I would just think there's a chance that he could be gay. I mean, my mom is like literally like Sonja in so many ways. Like if you met my mom, and literally. We always say if I had a brother, he would be 100% gay. He'd be awesome. He'd be
little clothes, fancy.
Oh my
little
God, yeah. So yeah, I totally. And she's like, well, we picked out the most macho picture of him with
love
a tennis
that.
ball in his mouth. It was so cute. But it was
a bit sad. It was actually quite comical how
sad.
when they went to do though. That you must admit when they went to throw off the ashes and then kind of got all over the sidewalk and,
And it's all over her dress.
Oh, it's not. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to point out, I really, really liked, I mean, and like I said, like, I have not been the kind of person that, like, has a pet that becomes a family member in this way at all. I mean, I haven't had pets, and so I can't relate to her in that sense. But what I really liked was we've seen Sonja with so many things throughout the season and in the past where she just kind of, like, wings it. Like we saw with the charity dancing earlier in the season, and the fact that she this meant that much to her, that she spent the time to write out and actually put her thoughts into words was incredible. And just really a testament to how much Milu meant to her and how much I think that a pet can. And for somebody that looking at this from the outside would have, from like the previews last week, was like, oh my gosh, like seriously, a dog funeral dressed to the nines, like this is ridiculous. Like again, kind of like with the spiritual thing, like this is not how I would cope. This is not the way that I think I would do it. But I really think that these were things that Sonja needed. And Heather was spot on in her confessional when she said that this was not about Milu at all.
Nope.
It was literally, it was about Sonja, and it was tied up in a little puppy package, as she said.
Super cute.
And she's going through, she spoke about, there was so more to it of getting through from the ex-husband. I'm sure there's probably some other issues with her daughter not being there, not being able to see her as much. And then finally as well, she even mentioned about her experiences in her childhood. There was a lot that came up from this process, but I guess there's going to be a lot more next week as well.
I think that time that she got Milu obviously was a very sensitive time because she says right before my daughter. So that time was when she got Milu. Maybe she didn't even realize it, but she was trying to get something to fill an emptiness inside of her or fill a void, and then became family. It became that part of her that when you lose that pet, it's almost like you lose that part of you again. You have to figure out. It's not easy.
Yeah,
we're done. Yeah. Okay. So do you want anything else we can talk about? What I miss? We miss anything? Other than predictions.
Yeah,
all right.
predictions.
Yep. Cool.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
I'll leave this to you guys. So by the time you guys get to me, there's nothing else to predict. I'm like, forget it.
I'm nervous for the fight between Sonja and Kristen. Sonja, we normally don't see Sonja get angry.
These are our two non-confrontational girls, and they are both.
Yep, they're gonna go, and I don't foresee it being some sort of crazy dramatic fist fight or anything like that. Obviously, we know Kristen wouldn't hit somebody, but I think it's gonna be tension-filled, and I'm hoping it's not something that ruins their friendship for the rest of a season. I'm predicting they will get past this, but I think it's gonna be the new drama that takes up the show for the next few episodes.
And that preview is what makes me think that there will not be anything between Ramona and Kristen. That this is maybe Sonja's like, she gets in the middle of it, and that's where it's like, if you can't get along with either of them, you're not going to get along with either of them.
Right. Yeah. Well, we have Carol next week with us, which will be awesome.
Yes.
So we'll be sitting down with her and getting to recap with her. So I'm excited about that. And you can just tweet us your questions as well. I'm at Miss Ashley Daniels for Twitter and Instagram.
And I'm at Host McGrath, and on YouTube at Host Stephanie McGrath.
And you guys can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Lyndsey Wegner, my blog, lyndsey.blogspot.com.
And I can be found at Cohen, Couhen, on Instagram and Twitter.
Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Bye.
See?
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.